Today we will be covering Lesson 18-1, representing the solution of systems of inequalities. We'll be breaking this lesson into 4 separate sections. The first section will cover questions 1 to 3. Then we will cover questions 4 and 5, example A, and then we'll finish out with question 6. Number 1, graph each inequality on the number line and grids. X is less than 2. We're going to have an open circle at 2, and less than would include all the numbers smaller than 2. So that would be 1, 0, -1, and such. So all the numbers that are to the left. On a graph, on an XY axis, we are going to have a dotted line because it's less than. Now, x equals 2 is a vertical line at 2. So we're going to have a dotted or dashed line at 2. And it is going to include all the ordered pairs that are smaller than. So that would be everything to this side of the line. Let's talk about the second option. We have x greater than or equal to -3. So we're going to have a closed circle at -3, and all the numbers bigger than it are on the right side. So we are going to do a solid line at -3. Now remember, x equal is a vertical line up and down at -3, and it is going to include all the ordered pairs that are located to the right of it. The last one in the chart. X is less than 2 and x is greater than or equal to -3. So we have a open circle at 2 pointing to the left, a closed circle at -3 pointing to the right. So remember, it's only the parts that overlap each other. So everything between -3 and 2. So the same goes here. We're going to have a solid line at -3, a dashed line at 2, and it is going to be all the ordered pairs in between the two lines. Compare and contrast the graphs you made in the third row of the table in your explanation. Compare the graphs of those in the first 2 rows and use the following words: dimension, half line, half plane, open, closed, intersection. The number lines are in one dimension, while the graphs are in 2 dimension. The third row of the number lines is the intersection of half lines while while the third row of the graphs of the XY axis is the intersection of half planes. We could say something about the first row is open, while the second row is closed. And the third row is open on one side and closed on the other. Now let's take a look at 3. 3 says, on the coordinate grid, graph the solutions common to the inequalities. Y is less than or equal to 4, and Y is greater than 1. Well, if X equals gives me a vertical line, Y equals gives me horizontal lines. So anything of the form Y equals is horizontal if it's one variable, okay? X equals is going to be a vertical line. So this one is going to be closed because it has the equal to. While this one, Y is greater than 1, is what we call open. So this is going to be a solid line, and this is going to be a dashed or dotted line. So we have solid at y equals 4 dashed at y equal to -1. Now, this says y is less than 4. So that would include numbers smaller than 4. Where this says y is greater than 1. So that's going to include all numbers bigger than 1. So everything in between here would be shaded. Go ahead and finish writing down your notes for this section. There's a debriefing question on the slide to follow.